I don't understand people who take sex as if it's a job. It's not a one-time smash and then gone.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Asking for a Friend. My name is Dennis Ngango, but on the streets they call me HBD. Not happy birthday, but Hot Boy Denny. After a good 6 months, it feels so good to be back in front of the camera and reunited with the team. This very special episode of Asking for a Friend is inspired by sex education, a coming-of-age drama on Netflix about Otis, a socially awkward teenager and virgin who decides to open a secret sex advice clinic with his classmate and crush, Maeve. Throughout the series, we see Otis give extremely heartfelt and genuine advice to his friends, classmates, and staff at Moordale Secondary School.
Can I just stay in here for a bit? I want people to think I've had sex.
Listen, I hear you. Peer pressure is hard, but living with regret is harder.
With season 3 finally on Netflix, we decided to quickly assemble our very own sex clinic and give some advice on sex and intimacy. You guys know I can't do this segment alone, so meet today's squad.
Hi, I'm Gugulethu Nyatsumba, and cisgee to some.
Hi guys, I'm Nana Aikins. Some of y'all know me as the ass queen, owner of Sleep Jewelry. That's with a double T.
Hey!
Yes!
Yo, what's up, people? It's Upenyu, but everybody loves and knows me as Hoops.
Hi guys, I'm Noma, and you've already met me.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Bongani, the proudly South African guy, a risk taker, a believer of a successful nation, a dreamer by night and a achiever by day.
Period. Quick disclaimer though, none of us are registered sex therapists, psychologists, anything in that nature. So we'll just be giving some advice based off of our personal experiences. I also just want to say before we start the episode that if you are sensitive to explicit content, this episode of Asking for a Friend might not be for you. It was my boyfriend's birthday yesterday, so he was getting a lot of texts all day and had been responding to them throughout the day. Towards the end of the night at 3 a.m., we had started fooling around.
Good, that's really nice.
I was giving him fellatio and looked up.
What's fellatio? Head.
Oh, guys!
She was giving him fellatio and looked up and he was on his phone.
I dare you.
I scooted up and said, "What the hell? Why are you on the phone?" And looked at the screen and he was texting his ex-girlfriend. He said sorry.
He said sorry.
She texted me to say it looks like I'm doing well and happy birthday, and he even asked about me.
What about what I'm doing right now?
I said I don't care what she's texting you about. You shouldn't be on your phone at all in this situation, much less texting your ex. Is this something you would be upset about, or am I blowing it out of proportion?
Okay, you are not blowing it out of proportion. That is so disrespectful. It is so rude. Like, the disrespect is actually killing me because one, I'm giving you fellatio. Okay?
Providing a service.
I'm providing a service. You're having a good time. You're on your phone. You're not focused. You're not looking at me like you. I don't know. You're just.
Why are you busy? This is him.
And then on top of that, you're texting your ex. You're where's my mouth right now and what is it doing?
Also, for me personally,
I'll bite it off. You are disrespectful.
also, it's not your birthday anymore, so we can fight. Like, for
Number one. Number two, clearly I stopped being your girlfriend when we decided to do that in that moment.
The thing is, guys, this is gonna be very on a thin line. It can either be two situations. Yeah? One, it's either you're doing it right.
It's fine.
Why?
No.
Please excuse yourself from this time.
Wait. The second one is that the guy is not into the person.
Okay, now let me just say, that in both of those scenarios, there's no need for you to disrespect.
There is
If you're not having a great time, if I'm not doing, like, let's just say I'm giving you head and I use teeth.
What
you would let
What should I do?
I'm
Should I stop you?
Wait, I'm
Can I tell you that you're not giving
yourself. And if you're too scared exactly to say the reason, make up something and leave.
Just say, hey, I'm really tired. It's fine. It's okay to say that.
You can't say you're tired.
I just want to say something.
You're not
And the
tired.
problem is that men like saying, why can't women just be honest? If they're not having a great time, just tell me, because they want to be like, yeah, no, I don't want it to be a situation where you're going to say, oh, I raped you, this, that, sharp, man. But you guys don't want to have the same honesty towards women. If you're not having a great time with me sexually, you understand that we're in such a vulnerable space right now. For you to lie to me, and for you to even disrespect me in that way, where I'm doing something intimate with you and you're on your phone, that is rude. You are, like, you're literally breaking down the entire relationship.
Bongani, we on the side, right? I try to support you, my brother, but not the off.
Yeah.
Let's look at it like from first principles, foundation, right?
Yeah.
Sex in general is just an intimate experience, right? So the moment that you go to your phone, right? You're not like in that whole experience anymore.
You're not there.
You've broken it completely, and I think it's unfair to your partner.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Especially, whatever. Plus, midnight, it's not your birthday, it's your birthday, whatever. But the fact that it's an intimate experience you're having with your supposed girlfriend, is personally speaking, if you're speaking to ex experience, you don't know about that anymore.
What if now, in this case, is that the guy was already on the phone and then you start
There's usually no.
You need more information. You need more information on this.
But even then, if you're on your phone and I start sucking you, put it down. You just tell me, hey babe, I'm busy right now. Something on my phone. Thanks, let me know.
Okay, let me ask a question.
Yes.
Irrespective of the nature of the conversation and everything, we can agree that it was still not right. The situation.
Yeah.
We can agree that it still wasn't right.
Remember? Okay, cool. So the thing is,
but we can
agree. That we can agree. Now, after agreeing, like Otis, we need to give a recommendation.
Yeah, what's
right? My recommendation is try to communicate to find out if the problem is it with the guy or is it with the experience.
Okay,
so
now wait. The issue.
Wait, guys, I'm not done. Wait, guys.
Give him a chance.
So, if you find out that the problem is with the guy, you know you call it quits.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Meaning that if the case was that you were not giving it back, then definitely go away.
My issue is that if, as my man, you felt like my head wasn't the best, that is a conversation you need to bring up in your own time, in your own way. It's not now my responsibility to bring up this conversation when you've disrespected me. I'm also not open to whatever it is you have to say, literally. So as a man, if you think I'm not doing my job, even if tell me prior. In your own way.
I don't think it's fair for her to be the one to go and say, hey,
no way.
Are you doing this because I suck at hair? Or are you doing this because you're not into me anymore? It's for the mere fact that he did it. It's like that thing where men only respect women they're attracted to. It doesn't justify you disrespecting women. Period. Like there is no excuse.
Is she asking us where does she go to from here? Because for me, okay guys, do you think this is ground for a breakup? Let's start there.
Yes, because you're texting your ex.
I do.
You text your ex.
Yeah,
but the thing is, the nature of the context, the nature of their conversation wasn't so. Like she said that they were just checking up on each other.
I think the irrespective of the birthday and thing, I just think that there's been some violation to the sacred space that we have, and I'm not sure how you would be able to get over that.
Yeah.
For me, like honestly, the recommendation there is that if there's no respect in general, because I think that's a different level. It could have been other things, but that's
it's just like I don't see. Like I don't see.
No, literally, like the one is I don't see.
Sam, if you want to tackle Kate's issues surrounding self-esteem whilst respecting your desire for visual stimulation, you need to establish a clear verbal intercourse. Stop passively hearing and start actively listening.
So I'm in a relationship with my partner that I love dearly. My only problem is that he's not interested in foreplay or has no knowledge about it. A few kisses in and he just wants to hit it. I tried to teach him by showing him a few things, and I even tried sexting, but he won't be interested. He just won't be interested. I know what I'm capable of. I know what excites me, but I feel robbed after rounds. I don't know how to talk to him about this and get him to be comfortable with it. A part of me also doesn't want to talk about it because if he flops, I'm going to be put off. Please advise on how I can tackle this because I am slowly getting uninterested in the bedroom. So I want to hear first from Hoops and Bongani. How can she go about this conversation?
Oops.
Okay. I think the first thing there, right, with the gents is there's this very big misconception about sex that sex is all about you, not the person. Right? That's why I have a problem when guys discuss about sex. At the end of the day, it's like I'm trying to satisfy you the same way you're trying to satisfy me. Right? So the moment that someone enters into like a sexual like intercourse or whatever, right? It's if you only think about yourself, then it's just the whole thing in that respect as well. That's what my problem is. So if the gender is watching, think of your partner. That's the whole reason of foreplay, right? You're trying to please her as well. That's the big shot. However, the end part, the twist at the end, right, of her saying that if he flops, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that.
Can I ask, just with what you're saying, she obviously had said that she has tried to show him, like I think through videos or whatever it is. So I think maybe that's why she's saying if he flops, I feel like she's gonna explicitly say it, and I don't know what she means by saying like if he flops. Is it that like if he's bad, then or is it like if he doesn't listen to me and doesn't consider me?
I think it's like if
he's bad.
I feel like in sex you can learn. I mean, does she expect him to be amazing from the get-go?
Yeah, that's what
because I mean, like the baby steps, like from the as growing up from a young boy to a man, you're not the same big bova that you weren't a big bova when you started. You know, you learn you have people that teach you, especially if this is something that she wants. She has to be patient. Doesn't have a choice. And you have to say, okay, babe, I like it like this, not like that. You also have to be willing to teach him. And part of teaching is having patience.
Yeah.
So if she is not willing to, then I mean,
Yeah, I think when I read the scenario, what I was able to take away is that she has shown him per se, but they haven't necessarily had a conversation about it. And those may be two different things. Like I can do exactly what you showed me, but like not necessarily with the same intent and gentleness that you require. Sex Education, the show, does a very good job at showing that like sex must be a pleasurable experience for those who are partaking it. It's not just about it like favoring one person but both. It goes with the whole notion of like safe sex is great sex in the sense that everybody feels safe as well. Everybody feels like they're being looked out for.
For me, guys, man, sex is poetic. Sex is it's a Netflix series you're watching every single time. There's a cliffhanger every single time. So you can't expect the person to know everything from the get-go. At least you have a cliffhanger to say, wait, you did something today. What did you do? I wanna find out more.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when you're going through, like in terms of foreplay, it's something that I don't know whether they're in a serious relationship or not, but I know personally, if you're in a serious relationship, it's easy to learn throughout the process because you're not in a rush. What you learn today, it's easy to say, oh, okay, cool, this is what I learned. You open up to new experiences. Like, I don't understand people who take sex as if it's a job. Instead of one time smash and then gone. It's not your 9 to 5. It's supposed to be. Guys, it's supposed to surprise you. It's supposed to be one of those where you like it. Guys, that thing. The moment you like you need to every single time. Guys, the thing.
He's married. Clearly,
He's married and said
it's fine.
Dennis said something about safe sex being great sex, right? Safe sex goes beyond just trying to protect yourself from STDs and everything. Safe sex is about the mental and emotional and physical experience that you have as well. And if this man is just going to go ram himself in you and you're not ready, that is going to injure you. That is not safe for you. And now this person is actually endangering you. And if you don't say anything, like we have this tendency as, the femme person in the relationship tends to like submit to whatever the masked person wants, and even when they're not happy, they're like, okay, but the masked person is satisfied, so it's fine. But that's not okay. It's genuinely not okay.
She's honest.
No, she's saying
she's on the
I'm even thinking about
what she's saying.
Like, am I myself engaging in safe sex? Like, am I even qualified to say giving advice on things that I'm not receiving?
It's very tricky, I think, because like, as much as you don't want to hurt this person's feelings, I think with the patience thing, like, you need to ask yourself, is there enough in the relationship for you that encourages you to stay even though you're not satisfied sexually? If there's not, and this person isn't willing to meet you where you are sexually and actually give you a chance to speak, then it's okay to walk away. Like, if you're not fulfilled in the relationship, I don't think it's worth it to stay with someone who's not willing to hear you and willing to give you what makes you happy.
And I feel like there's like this notion of women, like as women, sometimes it's like, if I'm not satisfied sexually, then that's okay. Like, if the rest of my relationship is fine, then it's cool. That's the L that I have to take. That's just the card that I've been dealt, and I have to just live with that and be okay with it. And also still not have a wandering eye, because I must be faithful. But I'm not getting anything. So it really is a very important part of your relationship, and I think it's like an expression of your love, and it should be that, an expression of your love. Like, if the experience doesn't feel like that, if you don't feel loved, if you don't feel ready, then that's not how sex should be.
Intercourse can be wonderful, but it can also cause tremendous pain. And if you're not careful, sex can destroy lives.
A few years back, I had an encounter with this guy, and he sexually coerced me, and I've been trying to deal with that for the past 2 years. The problem is that on some days, sex can be really painful for me, because my partner, or whoever I'm doing the deed with at that time, will do something that reminds me of the night that I was assaulted. My biggest struggle is speaking up and telling them that they hurt me, because I'm scared that the same thing will happen again. And I feel as though if I'm quiet, then it won't turn out like that night. This has made sex miserable for me, and I don't know what to do. What do you guys have to say?
I mean, like, I feel like it's very fair for you to not be having the same experience with sex, especially like, if you put yourself in a situation where you trusted someone and then they broke that trust, you were in a very vulnerable space, and that person really just took advantage of you. And first of all, I just want to say that you shouldn't feel responsibility to speak up unless you're ready to, because it is a very sensitive incident that has happened to you, and once you open it up to other people, you're like allowing them into that space, and if you're not ready for that, that's completely fine. But I will say that if you feel comfortable to, I would recommend you having a conversation with the person that you're having, that intimate encounter with. Just let them know, hey, I tend to get triggered sometimes. Maybe talk them through some of the triggers that you're aware of. And also, doing that lets them know to pay attention to you while you guys are having sex, because sometimes your mood shifts. Maybe they do something that you didn't know as a trigger. If they're aware that you're able to be triggered in that way, then they can stay mindful, like, okay, I realize that you're pulling back a bit, or you're not smiling the way you were, you don't seem to be enjoying it the same way, and then that allows them to be mindful and make the experience more comfortable for you. Because I feel like that is sex. Sex is an open conversation where the both of you are coming together and saying, hey, I like this, I prefer this, I like this, I prefer this. I would appreciate if you were sensitive to these things so that everyone can have a good time. But it's just so unfortunate that happened to you, and I'm so sorry. It's sad that it's happened to a lot of people.
I just really wanted to quickly empathize with the person who submitted this and say that, like, with you taking 2 years to even try and wrap your head around, like, even just sending this is such a big step in the right direction. Like, you just taking that big leap and saying, this thing happened to me, you don't know, nor understand how powerful that alone is. And now it's just about figuring out how you navigate your voice in a sexual environment. Unfortunately, the cards that you have when it comes to that is a bit different compared to what you initially started with, but as Noma said, you can still win the game with the cards that you have. You just have to be aware of them and know about them.
And I also feel like sex is also at your own pace, like just in general, like besides you know, the experience that she's gone through. I feel like sometimes as women, you know, especially in our society, we might feel pressure to do grown things or to do things, you know, when we're not ready, you know. And I feel like if you want to slow things all the way down to not having sex at all with whoever you're engaging with, then that's also fine, you know. Like even if you want to start off with, if I'm going to engage in this act, I want to be at that point where I feel that I can speak to this person already, then that's fine. You know, that person mustn't make you feel pressure to start something that you're not ready to start. You know what I'm saying?
Make sure that even in reflecting about the situation, you're not putting yourself in a negative space, that you are not painting yourself in a negative light, because none of it is on you. Yes, you are the person who's changed and who has to carry that with you, but like it won't define you. And you can get through it. Like you can definitely get through it. You can learn to live as this new person that you are and handle and manage the trauma. You can definitely do it.
And I think that coercion is so tricky just because it's like it leaves a little bit of a gray area, and I feel like it leaves more room for you to doubt yourself and doubt that what happened to you was against your will. Obviously, no one should ever have to convince you into doing something. Your yes should be enthusiastic, and it should be said with no other influence or someone trying to nag you or whatever it may be. So I can imagine that having the situation happened or having someone coerce you can just put you in a very like weird mind frame. So I really want to just emphasize on what Noma said, and that you're not to blame, and that there is still healing. It obviously sucks and it is terrible that you had to go through such an experience, but I do think with time and in your own time and in your own way, and when you have the words, when you can find the words, when you feel brave enough to say the words, if you want to write them down one day, you write them down and meditate on that. Like whatever process it is that you need to do, that is your process, and no one can tell you how to go about it or how quickly it should happen.
Definitely.
One of the best things that you can do at this moment is communication with your partner, because that's one thing that's literally gonna be a hassle. Like you can think about so many things that can go wrong, but if you communicate in this instance, it's gonna be like, okay, to say this is what I'm going through, and your partner has to understand. So
and if they do, they for you.
Also,
not for you.
Communicating is for you once you have said so, and if it is not received well, if it is not respected, if it is not taken note upon, then that person is just not for you, and that has nothing to do with what it is that you have gone through.
I feel like there's some things you don't have to compromise on. I'm not really a big believer in compromise, but there are some things that you just that's like some things like if you don't receive it well, or you don't, if there's a bit of like a then you know, I feel like in this aspect there's no
Coming up in part 2.
But I mean, the most nice video I got, like it was like a gift. It was a video and a picture. You know what he did? He came out the shower, he ran a towel, right? And then he dropped it. He dropped that towel. And it was like a small snippet of, you know what I need to say.
Thank you so much to today's panel. You guys knocked it out the park. There were parts where, you know, married men were giving us some wisdom. You know what I'm saying? There were parts where, but there were ways in which everyone uniquely brought their experiences. So thank you so much for being on this episode of Asking for a Friend. A very big thank you to the good people at Netflix for partnering with us on this very important episode. Make sure to check out season 3 of Sex Education right now on Netflix. If you would like me and the next squad, or if you want this squad to come back and answer your scenarios in future episodes, let us know in the comment section below.